Welcome back to the channel. Please hit like, share and subscribe. We're going to be exploring Milner Field, which is through there. An old Victorian ruin that was actually knocked down. This road here, what I've come down, this is called High Coach Road. This would have been where the coaches would have come down to go down to through the property from the north side to the south side. And we'll go down in there and get some shots of what is in there. I'll match up some photographs and I hope you enjoy this episode. That there is Coach Road where we were, and this is the pathway in. Coming down there, if I turn around, it goes up that way and it goes through there, either side of them pillars, and I'll show you what that was. What we're looking at here is one of the original gates to the property, one of the pillars. It would have had a big arch going across the top and then down to this side here. All demolished in the 1950s. There's a piece. Line that up there. You can see it's come off here and you can see the quality of the masonry work there. This would have gone into the courtyard. I'll put some photographs up as we're going along so you can see what we're doing. The house is behind this fallen tree here, pile there. They've bulldozed through right at the centre of it there, and then we've got all this over here which was kitchens areas attached to the house. So we'll go over and we'll have a look at some of this stuff. That is where it was bulldozed through. You can see great piles of rubble there, piles of rubble here, and huge pieces of masonry, most likely from the roof. You'll be able to match these up. Look at this. And that there, you can see all the shaping here. Things like this around the windows and roof on this property. Huge Victorian house. There's more scroll work there. Now there are some people currently excavating this, and I met them at the weekend, so they showed me and pointed out a few little bits, and what I want to do is to be able to match up some photographs. So let's have a look around. So the main entrance would have been around here somewhere, and if we go around this side, this is where some of the area they've been digging out. Now this was an entrance at the side of an office and workshop, and as you can see they've dug out quite a lot. You can see the original dressing down there, face work, and down there there's a grate. I'll take a video of that and insert that in here. I'll back up the steps. You can see how fancy this brickwork was. Look at that. The quality of this. This would have been an office here, and then behind here where that wall is there would have been towards the billiard room. Now the original owner of this house, Titus Salt Jr, his wife found him collapsed in the billiard room, which is where I'm stood now. This would have been the corner of it, from what I can gather looking at plans. So I'll stand in that corner and turn it round. That's now the billiard room, I believe. If not, it's that one there. His wife found him collapsed in here. I think he was aged 47 or 49. And he subsequently died. The house is alleged to be cursed with misery. Every owner that's owned the property has suffered horrific losses to the families that have lived here. The house remained unsold in the early half of the 19th century. And eventually, World War II, it was used as a target practice for grenade throwing apparently, and then it was knocked down in the 50s. Now what you can see here is the orangery. I believe that was the potting shed entrance there. There are some photographs of these, so we'll try and match them up and I'll put them on. I'm not certain what this was. Probably some kind of sun lounging area. It's south facing, is this. This is one of the walls of the terrace, the house just being up there. Virtually all the stonework, or the dressing as they used to call it, or as we call it today, has been stolen. But you can see some down there. It will have been robbed by people wanting to build houses, I suspect, and I believe some was taken to repair Salt's mill. The owner of this building, who had it built, used to own Salt's mill. And the house is still up on top there. Little bits of dressed stone everywhere down there. I'll just step up on here. That's the conservatory. So you can get your bearings. The conservatory's there. The building would have been going all along here. This is believed to be the back door to the property. The guys have been excavating this that I met at the weekend, and the doorstep's still in there. It had a bit of a porch over it, and they also took out this piece of wood, which is still here. Inside there would have been the rooms. You can see it's all backfilled and right up there, so all the rubble from the property has just been pushed into the middle. Again, this would have been bulldozed through to get the equipment in and out. Okay, so here's the steps, and there is a photograph. This would have had a retaining wall here, probably stopping about there, and then you'd have gone down the steps here and then turned to go down that way, or turned to go down that way. Everything is just so grown up it's difficult to see anything, but in there is where the round window is, the orangery, and the conservatory goes here. There is a photograph taken about here where you can just see the top of this wall here. Sadly we've got these trees in the way there and there, but I'll just try and match that up so you can see what it used to look like. The photograph's quite late, as you can see. It's got boarded up windows and it had probably been close to demolition at this point. So this one's taken from the top of the other retaining wall, which is here. This is the bottom one. This would have been what's labelled as a park. And this has still got a lot of good stone on there. I don't know if the path down to it, or the steps down there, still exist. The steps that we were just on are in that rubble there. So you would have thought they'd be quite opposite, and opposite that is where that tree is. Almost, is it? A little bit further down. It might not have had any steps, but I'll go to the edge and I'll have a look for you and see what you think. I've come during winter so that everything died down and you can actually get somewhere. Well, there's nothing opposite those steps. It may have not had any. There is an aerial photograph. I will put that up. That's down that way. And then that way, there is sort of a coping stone there. where these trees are, but I don't know. So we'll go up to the kitchen area next. Just on the way to the kitchen, these are a better close-up at the steps. Bottom step, middle support, and where they would have gone that side and this side. We're looking here. This would have been a big retaining wall, so they could have stood over it and had a look. Now, interestingly enough, there's all these symbols around the site on various different stones. You actually have to look for them to find out where they are. It's not a random one that is on there. And we've got marks on here. It'd be nice if there was some water, you'd be able to read it a bit better if they were wet. And they're on dozens, probably even hundreds of stones. This one here. Now, one or two might be stonemasons' marks, but the gentleman Titus Salt Jr, the youngest of the Titus Salt family, was into Freemasonry, astrology and runes, and it's believed that's what these marks are. They all mean things like protection. Now, the people who are researching this have got a Facebook page, Milner Fields, run by a gentleman called John. Really nice guy, I've met him. He's been digging all these things out. This is the kitchen area. That turns out that was the toilets for the serving staff. And that's apparently a windowsill for the toilets. Now, he's doing the research on this. If you are interested, join his Facebook group, spread it far and wide, along with this Facebook page, my YouTube, of course. And you'll be able to follow him and watch the coming months as he's digging this out and excavating it. Now, just look at the size of these. And again, we've got this mark here, like a triangle. I think that might be the Freemasons' compass mark, that. So this is all to do with the kitchen area, and it had a forecourt in there somewhere as well. We'll walk across the top of it because they've managed to expose the fireplace. There's a big cellar. I'll get some footage of that, but I'm not going in because I've come up here on my own at the moment and I don't want anything to happen. So, kitchens, if you notice, it's on an angle. There's the retainer wall, so the house was up there. Kitchens, this part here, I think might have been the forecourt for the kitchens. There's an access there, but I'm not going in anywhere. But that looks like to another cellar. Pantry, because it may not be a cellar, that, because that's quite high up. This land looks level. This could have just been dug down a little bit. As you can see, it's got an arched roof in there. This could be pantry and storage, these ones, potentially. I'd need to look at a map to compare it. And then this looks like a chimney flue. And of course, they had to cook somewhere. They would have had staff running this house. Absolutely huge building. Apologise if it's a bit shaky. I've come back up and I've forgotten my clamp for my gimbal. If we look down in here, brickwork still in situ. A lot of the bricks are made by a company called Cliff. I did try and look them up, but I could only find Cliff and Sons from Lower Wortley and Leeds. So I don't know if that's anything to do with them. Let's go back here because you saw the fireplace there. I say fireplace, it's more than likely oven related, with it being kitchens. Look at that. Still in situ. Amazing. And here's one of the cliff bricks. Another one there. And then this huge piece of masonry, more than likely part of the roofing. So that, I suspect, is an oven. David did tell me, but I've forgotten. I think it is an oven. Now this site just wasn't a house. The house is over there. Over that way were kitchen gardens, greenhouses, sheds, and everything like that. Had a boating lake down there. You can actually see the shape of that on Google Earth if you look. I would like to come back up during the summer. There's another part of, potentially, it's quite high up, is that? That could be an oven or a doorway access. I've got some footage of the cellar for you to have a look at, so stick around to watch that. Yeah, so that's Milner House, a rather sad tale if you want to read about it and look into it a bit more. I bet there's loads under here that's still in reasonable condition, you know. Because now I'm on the highest part of the rubble. And that down there was what I just showed you. There's the fireplace or potential oven. That's the main entrance hall, was probably here where these trees are. And that would have been through to a staircase, but it's all been ploughed through and piled up here and at the other side. When you look at how high they are, I bet there's loads under here. And I would like to know, are there any tiled floors still intact? And what can this building reveal about its life? Whilst a lot of it's quite well documented, there's nothing like digging it up and having a look. And this again would have been the original forecourt. There's the entrance arches over there. The Milner House, a grand house in its day, was built between 1871 and 1873 by Sir Titus Salt Jr. It boasted pleasure gardens, greenhouses, a huge conservatory, a boating lake, a model farm, an orangery with exotic fruits. It had 9 bedrooms upstairs, bathrooms and dressing rooms. The house was built to the designs of architect Thomas Harris. As we've seen from some of the pictures, Sir Titus Salt Jr, when he was building the house, believed in rune stones and protection symbols. However, they fell to no avail as the house began to gain a reputation for being cursed. The first person to die at the house was Titus Jr himself, who had collapsed in the billiard room and found by one of the staff. His wife Catherine was called, along with a doctor, but he soon passed away. He was found to have a weak heart. Catherine sold the house to a textiles tycoon called Sir James Roberts. Despite his wealth though, 3 of his 4 sons died. The firstborn, William, succumbed to pneumonia, aged 24, and then Bertrand died of a neurological disorder, aged 36, and the youngest, Jack, drowned whilst on holiday. His remaining son, Harry, was badly injured during the First World War. Harry's wife died while pregnant during the flu pandemic after the war. Meanwhile, Sir James's Alice eloped off to Scotland, and that was with a war hero, but he was soon admitted to Broadmoor Psychiatric Hospital for shooting dead Major Miles Seaton, who he believed was having an affair with Alice. After that, the Roberts family sold the estate, and weeks later, Salt's mill director Ernest Gates lost his wife to an illness after moving in. Gates cut his foot, possibly on a rosebush or a golf club, and died of blood poisoning. The final residents were fellow Salt's mill director Arthur Remington Hollins and his wife. They became the final residents at Milner House and died less than a year after moving in of pneumonia, and Arthur himself died of gallbladder irritation 3 years after that. From the 1930s onwards, it was left unsold. It couldn't be sold. Nobody was interested in buying the house. The curse had taken hold, and it was remaining empty until the 1950s. During the war period, it was used as grenade practice for the Home Guard, and then sometime in the 1950s it was demolished. I hope you've enjoyed this look around Milner House with me. It's near Shipley in Yorkshire. Now, if you come here, don't take anything, don't upset it, just look. It's a shame that it got destroyed, but I doubt there's many families on this earth today that could afford to run that. Maybe your Elon Musk's, and it would most likely be in incredibly private hands where you would be allowed nowhere near it, or it would have probably got handed over to the National Trust should it have existed today. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please like, share and subscribe, because I'm going to go do another video shortly that I don't think you're going to want to miss. Nobody's completely done it. People have been there, but they haven't really done everything. So I'm going to try and do everything on this next video. There are parts of it what people say don't exist anymore, but because I'm from that area, I know they do, and we're going to go there and have a look. So please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.